You're with the hard facts at the CNN News 18 primetime studios. The future of lakhs of students, viewers, hangs in the balance after the integrity of the just concluded NEET or NEET combined medical exam was called into question. The Supreme Court has asked the National Testing Agency, or the NTA, which of course administers these exams, to furnish replies to some pointed questions. For those who may not be fully acquainted with the story, here's a quick recap of the main facts. A few days ago, when the results were released, an unusually high number of candidates achieved a perfect score of 720 out of 720, which raised eyebrows. A total of 67 examinees secured the top spot nationwide, all achieving All India Rank 1. This is highly unusual because in the last iteration of this exam, viewers, only 2 did. So it's strange, isn't it? Most perfect scores or near perfect scores were concentrated from one exam center, which is also very unusual. 6 was the number, I think. 2 petitions filed challenging the NEET UG results in separate high courts. The Supreme Court then got in, viewers, and said there's something wrong because the petitioners alleged mass paper leak in Patna examination centers, which the NTA has come back and said did not happen. Nonetheless, viewers, there are other presumed irregularities. Many examinees allegedly given question papers and answers for 30 to 50 lakhs. That was what was claimed. The NTA, as I told you, has dismissed the paper leak charges, but was left red-faced when cops made arrests. In Gujarat and Bihar, police arrested paper solvers to 41 NEET UG medical aspirants. Now, viewers, you have biometrics, you have CCTVs. How could this have happened? Someone was obviously sleeping on the job. And it's very curious because 2 press releases were also put out. Let me tell you, viewers. One press release was on the 5th of May, which said everything was okay. There was only one small problem in one exam center. But otherwise, the exam was a great success. We assure you, said the NTA. It was all clean, transparent, above board. But then, viewers, when petitioners moved the courts on the 6th of June, a month later, the NTA said, no, there were some problems. And a lot of these problems have been resolved because, you see, we were giving grace marks, and they came up with a huge number of reasons. Now, viewers, you can go out and read what the NTA has said in response to the charges. The questions were, how can any candidate score 718 and 719 marks in the NEET UG 2024? Remember, the marking system doesn't allow for that. So how come that happened? So they've given a lengthy response. Were there any candidates besides the 1563 who received compensatory marks? How were the compensatory marks calculated? Did the 44 perfect scorers, 720 out of 720, who benefited from the physics question with 2 correct answers also receive compensatory or grace marks? Some did, viewers. Why did a greater number of candidates get full marks in the NEET 2024 iteration? There were several other questions. Is it true that there has been a paper leak in Bihar or Gujarat? So, viewers, some people are satisfied, others are not satisfied. The students specifically are on protest. In fact, in the union capital in this heat, because they believe, and there you can see their pictures, because they believe that the NEET result, the entire process has been compromised. It needs to be cancelled. CBI investigation into the charges of paper leak, which they are not accepting, did not happen, and mechanism for fair and transparent exam system. And viewers, it's not just this exam. There have been other exams at the national level which have had problems. As I told you, we must all stand up for our students. It's their future in the balance, viewers, and it became an electoral issue. And despite that, we have problems. And we have with us Alak Pandey, who's one of the petitioners. You're also called the physics wala. Alak Pandey ji, why do you have a problem with the NTA's response?
The response is not transparent and it's very reactive in nature. So I think people like me or students should not be asking for response. Instead, we should be expecting that NTA gives clarification on themselves. So the problem is, for the past 5 years, there have been cases of time loss at different centers, students getting late answer sheets, getting Hindi students getting English answer sheets, and these incidents have been happening for last 5 years. You never gave grace marks in the last 5 years. Suddenly one year, you gave grace marks to a lot of students and you didn't tell anyone. You released the result and you are quiet. Then somehow we pointed out that there is an extraordinary score, there is an abnormal score of 719, 718.
Why is it abnormal?
Okay, why is it abnormal? So, NEET is an examination where you get +4 for a correct answer and -1 for a wrong answer. So, the maximum number you can score in the examination is 720. Let us say you do leave up one question, you left one question. So, you left one question, you won't get 4 marks. So, you will get 716. If you do it wrong, then you lose 4 marks and then -1. So, it is 715. So, after 720, the next scores are 716, 715. You cannot get 718 and 719. When we discovered that number 719, 718, we started asking questions, we started making videos, we started tweeting them, we started mailing them, and the laid back mechanism, the laid back attitude of replying at least after 48 hours with a small tweet, a small press release. Okay, this year a lot of students face time loss at certain centers, so we are using the Honorable Apex Court decision and we are allotting grace marks because of time loss, and we are giving this 719, 718. Still not telling that they have given grace marks to students who have gone to 720. Isn't this a kind of disparity? Then we have the list of top 100 students and we see out of those 100 students, 6 students are from same exam center getting 720 out of 720. Then we start asking again, what is this, what is this, how can 6 students sitting at a same center sitting
they have not answered that. I have not got a specific response from the NTA on that.
They have given. I'll put their part as well. So, I'm there for the last 7 days doing this only, I'm doing nothing. So, they have answered that we have given grace marks to 6 centers in 4 states. So, I have questioned, if 6 centers, 4 states, why 720 from one center only if you have given grace marks? So, they have told the average marks of students in this particular center of Haryana in Jhajjar is more than the another 5 centers. So, we have given grace marks. First of all, students are unsure about the number 1563. Today they have declared the total number of students who got grace marks is 1563. Even if that is true, how can you pull off a student to 720? There was a student out of these 6 students who used to study from our app only. I monitored his scores throughout the year. He never used to get more than 660. His average score is 660. And that student has scored 720. Now there is another student whose average score is throughout the year is 660 and he remains at 660. Now, the person who got grace marks is at AIR 1 and who didn't get grace mark is at AIR 21,000. Isn't this a violation of right to equality? I asked NTA and I asked it multiple times. Secondly, the paper leak case. There is a detailed FIR lodged in the Sashrinagar police station at Patna station. The cop name is Arun Kumar. I have studied it deeply, thoroughly. And if once you read that FIR, you will be convinced that there is a paper leak. But NTA says it categorically denies paper leak.
It got all the answer question sheets back,
it
says.
So, at least wait for the judgment to happen. The matter is still in the Honorable High Court.
And it's being listed tomorrow.
Our PIL is in the Honorable Supreme Court. It's listed tomorrow.
Listed tomorrow. So, tomorrow is going to be a big day, viewers. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan before I bring back Mr. Pandey and also Mr. Poonawala. Dr. Ranganathan, how do you view this?
No, this is a tragedy. Twofold tragedy, because number one, as Mr. Pandey has very rightly said, you are playing with the future of our millions of students. In fact, 2.3 million if I am not mistaken.
Yes.
And the excuse that the increase in the number of students who got perfect marks is because 3 lakh or 2.5 lakh more students participated this year. I'm sorry, this is a bit tenuous argument at the best of times. Having said that, when they say that the perfect marks of 60 or 70 odd students is because we gave grace marks, were they not giving grace marks before? And number 2, it is highly suspicious, as far as even I have gone through in bits and pieces the FIR that has been filed there. There is clearly misdemeanor there. But Above and beyond that, and of course I agree with Mr. Pandey that there has to be a proper investigation. Previously, when such leaks have happened, CBI has investigated and has done a brilliant job, may I add. So it has to be done by CBI, no less. Let that happen. But on the other side, I also want to make a, if I may say, quote unquote, political point, because Ms. Priyanka Vadra has tweeted and raised this issue. It is another matter that the tweet of hers is regarding a student that has a very dubious past and people have already exposed what she was saying. Be that as it may, where is the tweet of the new education minister? This is the problem of perception. It's already been, I think, 1.5 days since the new minister has taken over. I think he continues. He should have come out and refuted. It should not be left only to the NTA. 2.3 million students is the, and when the Prime Minister can hold huge mega quote unquote rallies talking about Pariksha Pe Charcha, is it not incumbent upon his government to come out and hold a presser and refute each and every allegation rather than leaving it to the NTA? This is the problem with perception and BJP.
Perception and BJP, that's the problem. That's a slightly different problem. We'll come to that. I just want to quickly bring in Mr. Poonawalla. Mr. Poonawalla, there is also a lot of foreshadowing going on because many people say that this is the opposition's attack on the NEET, has a political background to it. There are a large number of politicians in certain states that have these institutes. So getting rid of the NET will actually benefit them because you will go back into that old capitation system. Quick response to that before I bring in Mr. Pandey once again.
You must be laughing, you must be joking if you think capitation fees don't happen in medical colleges today despite NEET. Okay. They happen, the rates have gone up much higher, all education colleges, and they're controlled by politicians across party lines. That's not the debate. Let's figure what a debate is. These exam centers where these scams have happened, where these 6 exam centers are in the states ruled by the BJP. I'm very clear on it. It's Haryana, Bihar, and Gujarat. That's where it's happened. Students have chosen that. That has to be investigated. These papers are available on the darknet and in Telegram. Everybody knows about it. You may hide, you may say whatever. But the larger point is the abrupt manner in which these extra marks were given that helped people get this perfect score, thereby creating this discrepancy. Now, some of these students who have got the perfect score, if they were to be retried, they wouldn't be able to get it. And it has happened because all your systems have failed and helped some students make that mark, and they've gone in those particular centers where this has happened. And that's where the discrepancy has come, and there's been no answers for that.
Okay,
that is where you need to focus on. Okay. CBI needs to focus there.
Let me ask Mr. Pandey, since he's really into this. This is what the NTA says. How were compensatory marks calculated? This is, they say, the loss of examination time was ascertained and such candidates were compensated with marks based on their answering efficiency and time lost. As per the mechanism formula established by the Honorable Apex Court, 1563 candidates were compensated for the loss of time. So if this was a formula established by the Apex Court, why is there a problem?
So the formula established by the Honorable Supreme Court in the judgment of 2018 was for a CLAT exam where 60,000 students write the exam. It's an online exam. It's very easy in an online exam to detect, to make sure how much time is lost, because you can keep the track of server on, off, timings and everything else. In an offline exam where you have like 4,750 centers spread across India, how can you make sure how much time is lost at a particular center? And if you did, why did you release a press note on the evening of 5th May saying that leaving the center at Savai Madhopur in Rajasthan, in each of the centers except this center, the exam went peacefully and on time? Then you come back on 6 June and say, okay, some of the students have filed a complaint through High Court. They have writ petitioners have filed a complaint through High Court. And now we have seen the CCTV footage and we are sure that there is a loss of time and we are awarding them marks. This is the first part, that how can you ensure about the time. Now the second part, answering efficiency. How can you evaluate the answering efficiency? So it's a NEET examination. A student starts the examination with biology and he attempts the questions of biology in a very fast manner because there you don't have to solve anything. So suppose a student has lost 1 hour, 60 minutes and he has like 2 hours left, 2 hours, 20 minutes left. He'll start with biology, his speed will be more, his accuracy will be more. Why accuracy will be more? Consider yourself as aspirant. When you start an examination, you attempt those questions which you are sure of.
Yes.
So your accuracy is good, your speed is good. Now you are evaluating the remaining question paper which he couldn't attempt based on his best performance, not his practical performance. So awarding grace marks on basis of that is completely unfair, and I have proven that with data, and I am okay with all the government agency, with NTA or Honorable Supreme Court to check that data and have a tech audit with my data, that 2 students studying on my app, one is getting 660 throughout the year, other is also getting 660 throughout the year. The first one actually gets 660 in the examination, another one with the help of the grace gets 720. So there's a practical explanation.
And becomes AIR rank 1.
And becomes AIR rank 1, and the other becomes AIR 21,000.
Wow. Yes,
Rahul?
Dr. Ranganathan, yes.
Just 2 small points. My good friend Tehseen, I didn't want to make it political, but when he says all the irregularities were in BJP ruled states, this is a massive paper NEET mix-up irregularity in Telangana. I wonder if Telangana is ruled by BJP or by Congress.
Okay,
but also a slight disagreement with the founder of Physicswala, whom I'm a big fan of, when he says biology questions don't need to be solved. I can give him 2 examples of NEET questions about the PCR, at the end of 23 cycles, the amount of DNA is 2 micrograms. After how many cycles is the amount of DNA 500 nanograms? That needs to be solved.
Yeah,
just a slight disagreement.
That is okay, but that is an exception. Nah? If you solve physics question, you need more time.
So let me ask you, why did a greater number of candidates get full marks in the NEET UG 2024? The response is number of candidates who appeared in 2023 was 20 lakhs, some number. The number of candidates who appeared in 24 increased by 3 lakhs, roughly there.
Yeah.
The increase in candidates naturally led to an increase in high scorers due to a large pool of candidates.
Okay, so I'll give an example, and let's forget this 720 score. Much has been talked about 67 students, 720. I'll take the number 640 out of 720. 640 is a very decent score in NEET, and every NEET aspirant or a NEET teacher is proud of 640. So year 2021, at a score of 640, you used to get All India rank 6,000. Next year, at 640, 7,000. Next year, 10,000. Okay. Number of aspirants increased by what? 3 lakhs? Let us say 4 lakhs. From 20 lakhs to 24 lakhs. Increases 20%. So what would I expect? The rank would increase by 20%. Let us say 40%. Let us say 50%. So this 10,000 can become 20,000. Let us say 25,000, 30,000. It has become 40,000. And the number of aspirants have also increased from 22 to 23 by 3 lakhs again. It didn't happen then. It is happening now. When it happened in 22 to 23, the number of aspirants increased by 3 lakh. The rank increased from 7,000 to 10,000. This year is going to 40,000. So what they are saying, that all the new added students are phenomenal, are very hardworking, are getting good marks. So this is practically impossible. Theoretically, yes, you can say it's possible.
Okay, practically impossible. Okay.
No, I think there is a possibility they all might be students of Physicswala.
Yeah, your students.
3 of our students got, and the 4th also got, but the 4th one is from the Judges Center.
Right.
Yes.
Now, paper leak. Is there any truth to this? Because NTA says it is to be noted that none of the reports are backed with evidence that may indicate a paper leak. These cases seem to be related to cheating impersonation and not to paper leak. While the outcome of the investigation in aforesaid cases awaited, NTA has categorically denied any case of paper leak.
That is a good statement to make, and that is very bureaucratic statement. Let's be practical. We all know that paper leak is very common in India. We know the names, we know the syndicates, we know by what name they are called, we know the process, we know the rate, and it's a formal setup. It's not informal, it's a formal setup. And let me be very clear, this is not political. This is not political at all. Sometimes they have connection with the political party in that state, sometimes they have political party in that state. So it's not political, it's a syndicate, which the government...
Who's part of this syndicate usually?
These are, the people are called setters somewhere in UP and Bihar. Yeah. When you go to Bangalore, they are called consultant. They charge money from the parents and then they try to leak paper and they do all this. And this is not new.
Yes.
It has been happening in each and every paper.
Yes.
NTA said it categorically denies. Okay, you can deny, but there's an investigation going on.
Yeah.
And that investigation should be taken on a super fast track by the Honorable Supreme Court, and that is my demand tomorrow.
Yeah, arrests have actually happened in 2 states, Bihar and Jaipur. And Rajasthan. So it's happened in both states. Well, one second. I just want to finish off. I don't want to get into politics right now.
Yes,
I just want to finish off with Physicswala ji. What is the demand now? What should happen?
Okay. So the practical demands from here are, the Honorable Supreme Court should set up an independent committee. NTA is setting up their own committee. We don't have trust on them. Students don't have trust on them. It could have been there if they would have been more empathetic. Okay, fine. So the Honorable Supreme Court sets up an independent committee, and that committee monitors the Patna paper leak case, the Gujarat paper leak case, or whatsoever. At the same time, there should be a tech audit, a database audit of the NTA's data. And we should find the number of candidates who are actually benefited from grace marks. Okay, I trust NTA, they said 1563. But let us have the trust of millions of students as well. Let us do a tech audit and prove it the number is 1563. Then separate that student, whatever that number is, it is 10,000, is it 10,000, 15,000? Separate those students, conduct a re-NEET for those students only, and you can match the paper level with the paper level that came in the examination. That there is a provision for that in IIT JEE mains. NTA only conducts that examination, you can normalize and get rank for them. But if there is a paper leak, the precedent is 2015 AIPMT, similar examination, pre-medical test. If there is a paper leak, they have to do retest for the candidates who want to make it.
Very quickly, why would the NTA, and this question goes out to Dr. Ranganathan also, why would the NTA, why would the NTA stake its reputation by putting out this half-baked, according to you, half-baked response?
See, we all make mistakes in life, and it is okay to make mistakes. I respect that you conduct exams for 23 lakh kids across 4,750 centers. It's tough, I agree. But the best thing is if you make mistake, come and admit it. The problem is that.
Dr. Ranganathan.
Now, I think, to be honest, to be fair to NTA, look, it's been conducting IIT JEE exams, and they're not facing the same glitches. In fact, it is the world's, if I'm not mistaken, second toughest exam after some Chinese exam. And it goes off brilliantly, almost brilliantly every year. The fact is, and I say it again, the education minister must come out and say what needs to be said. Don't leave it to the NTA and the bureaucrats, please.
Well, viewers, we're awaiting a response. We've given you two stories today. We haven't got a response from the center on either of these two. It's strange. It's rather strange, and it doesn't speak well, because the interests of millions of students, India's future, is at stake. I leave it at this, viewers. Thank you very much, Physics Walaji, and also Dr. Ranganathan. Thank you very much. We'll be back very quickly with the right stand.